then, Manchester United, the Premier League campaign, it starts now. Manchester United get 3 points, clean sheet at Old Trafford, and that goes to 30 games unbeaten at Old Trafford. But this is about Manchester United versus Wolves. And first of all, I've got to give credit to Wolves. They were absolutely brilliant. And I put Wolves to go down, but if they can play like that throughout the entirety of the Premier League season, they can definitely finish mid-table because they were absolutely brilliant, in my opinion. You can't actually discredit them because Gary O'Neill instructed them players to run through our midfield. Manchester United played very wide in that game and Wolves exploited our weak points, which was the centre of our midfield. Mason Mount, Bruno Fernandes and Casemiro, brilliant midfield when it comes to quality on paper, but right now there's no chemistry in that midfield three. Casemiro is very alone right now and he's doing a lot of defensive actions by himself, and Bruno Fernandes and Mason Mount aren't supporting him enough, and I'm looking forward to seeing how this unfolds. I'm wondering if this is something to do with the Amrabat deal for Erik to work out, or maybe to hint at why we need a player like Amrabat in our squad. But at the end of the day, let's just analyse the game. And Wolves were the better side, I'm going to be honest. The fact that Manchester United got 3 points from that, I'm absolutely stunned by. But at the end of the day, they all look the same at the end of the day. We've got 3 points and that's all that matters. And Manchester United throughout pre-season, we look shaky. Marcus Rashford, again, very quiet today. But unfortunately, he just didn't get the service. And this is kind of my concern about Rasmus Højlund, because we've just spent £72 million on a striker in Højlund, and Rashford got no service in that game. Bruno Fernandes, Mason Mount, we were passing it out wide to Antony and Garnacho, but Rashford got no service. So if that's Rasmus Højlund, who we've now spent £72 million on, if this is going to be another graveyard shift situation, this is going back to Ronaldo, Cavani, even Weghorst, all these other strikers that didn't get the service, and this is why they don't do their job, which is to score goals. So with Marcus Rashford, he's come out and said on Gary Neville's overlap a few weeks ago that he doesn't like playing through the middle. He prefers it on the left-hand side. So I'm hoping when Rasmus Højlund is definitely fit, Rashford goes back onto that left-hand side, and then it's a fight for the right wing between Amad Diallo, Antony, Sancho, whoever it is, because it seems like the nailed on position for the left wing is going to be Garnacho and Rashford being the starter and Garnacho coming off on the bench when needs be. But actually analysing the game, Wolves, like I said, played really well. They dominated us and they got a lot of shots off. 23 shots they got throughout the entire game. They played really, really well. But this is about Manchester United, and there's 3 players that I want to highlight and what they did well. Varane is someone I do want to briefly talk about, how he gets the winning goal. He saves us. He's what gets us the 3 points tonight, because it looks like none of our forwards were actually going to score this evening. But Andre Onana, Antony and Wan-Bissaka are the 3 players to me that stood out in this match. Antony I'm going to talk about first because he got subbed off. Antony, for me, in that first half was absolutely brilliant, and I had an issue with Antony saying that why he probably wasn't going to work out in the midfield in the Premier League, because he relies purely on technical ability. He's not very direct. He's very weak when it comes to his right foot, and Antony just wasn't very impressive last season, and this in pre-season as well. He wasn't showing many good glimpses, but this game he was using his right foot to make progressive passes. He wasn't cutting inside as much. He was carrying on running and trying to make a few crosses. He was tracking back when he lost the ball. So, like last season, for example, he would lose the ball and only jog back and rely on the defence to get his ball back for him that he lost. But tonight he did misplace a few passes, but he sprinted back and tried winning the ball back that he lost, and that's what I like to see, because he's taking accountability of his misjudgment in passes, and this is what I like to see from Antony, and this is how he's going to grow as a player. But technical ability wise, Antony's very good, but he just needs to become a lot more direct to be an established Premier League winger if he wants to succeed at Manchester United. That's just only my opinion. I don't want him to be scoring and getting assists every single game, because that's very unethical. But when it comes to Antony, he just looks very unbalanced at the moment, and I want him to work on his all-round game and not just be a one-trick pony where he cuts in on that left foot and tries and hits it outside the edge of the box or into the edge of the box to the keeper's far post, because that's where he just keeps getting found out. But if he simplifies his game more and works on his game more and actually develops as a winger, he could become one of Manchester United's biggest threats, in my opinion. Wan-Bissaka. Now, Wan-Bissaka was absolutely brilliant today, and he proved to the entire Manchester United fan base, in my opinion, why he should be that starting right back. First of all, that assist for Varane, that was pinpoint beautiful, and it was just the perfect amount of weight and power and speed to it land directly on Varane's noggin. And for me, it was a brilliant piece of play. And Wan-Bissaka, it wasn't even just that. His one-on-one defensive duels, the way he was progressing with the ball. Wan-Bissaka was absolutely brilliant today. And for me, I think he's definitely contender of man of the match. But my man of the match, I'm going to have to give it to Andre Onana. For his Premier League debut, one gets a clean sheet, which makes him the 10th Premier League keeper for Manchester United to have a clean sheet on his Premier League debut. So that's a brilliant statistic to go off for Andre Onana's start of his career at Manchester United. And second of all, with Andre Onana, the fact is that this is what De Gea was missing out on. You could, whether you want to say that it was a penalty or not for Wolves, for me it wasn't a penalty, and you might be thinking that this is a biased United fan saying that it's not a penalty. But let me just hear me out. When the cross comes in for, I believe it was Neto from Wolves, it was two Wolves players who jumped up for the same ball, and Andre Onana comes and claims his cross. It hits one of the Wolves players first, before Andre Onana makes contact with the other Wolves player, and then Andre Onana clatters into him after the Wolves player hit the ball, and that was it. So for me, I can see why they didn't give it. For me, if I'm the United fan, I would be fuming, but you've got to be realistic and take a step back and realise that the ball had already made contact with the player. Second of all, it was nowhere near the player that Andre Onana made contact with. And for me, it just wasn't a penalty. And that's what you go off. If it happened to Manchester United, where the keeper took out Marcus Rashford, but let's say, for example, it was Casemiro who headed the ball, who was behind Marcus Rashford, you've got to be looking at that, saying the ball was out of play. Andre Onana, or whichever keeper it was, had his eyes on the ball at all times, and he just wasn't looking where he was going, and it was a complete accident, in my opinion. But forget that, the saves he was making, the passes he was making, the way he was commanding his area and coming for crosses, this is what you want from your keeper. And this is why Manchester United, the shackles are now starting to come loose, and this is what I'm loving to see, because with Erik ten Hag, we're finally becoming a modernised team where we're going to start with a pressing striker. We're in Rasmus Højlund when he does start for us. We've now got the distribution goalkeeper who's an absolute monster. And once we sort the midfield out, because I believe that Amrabat is going to be perfect for us, and with a performance like today, Bruno Fernandes better watch out for his spot. I know he's now the new captain for Manchester United, but Bruno Fernandes for so many years has now been one of the first members on our team sheet. But Erik ten Hag has proven for his first season at Manchester United that no one's a guaranteed starter, and if you're playing poorly, you will be dropped. And today, Bruno Fernandes didn't play well, in my opinion. I know he started the playmaking ability. I know he started the chance for the first goal for Manchester United. Obviously, it was a beautiful pass to Wan-Bissaka, and Wan-Bissaka dinks it over for Varane and scores the goal. But apart from that, Bruno Fernandes offered us nothing. He wasn't passing to Bruno Fernandes. He wasn't passing to Marcus Rashford when it meant something. He kept passing it out wide to Garnacho. And I actually quickly want to highlight Garnacho. I would much rather prefer Garnacho become an established squad member before he becomes an established starter. For me, he's not ready. And I feel like that if we continue playing him as a starter, he will fall into the Elanga category, where he keeps getting bullied, he keeps getting found out, and he doesn't get to develop properly. Garnacho is so much threatening when he's coming on with 30 minutes to go. He's fully energised, he's hungry, and he wants to make a difference. Look at the Fulham game of last season when he came on and scored the 98th minute winner at the Cottage. Look at what he did at against Manchester City in the game at Old Trafford when we won 2-1, and he was the difference in that game. The same with the FA Cup final. Yes, we lost, but Erik ten Hag brought Garnacho on way too late, and Garnacho was causing issues for players. When Garnacho, our fresh, hungry Garnacho, is running at you, and you're knackered because you ran for the last 60 minutes, Garnacho is going to get a lot more opportunities, and that's where you're going to see a better Garnacho. So once he gets used to the actual Premier League speed and format, as a bench player, that's when you can start implementing him to the starting 11. But right now, I don't think he's ready. And I'm hoping when Rasmus Højlund starts and is fully fit, we see Marcus Rashford back on the left, Højlund through the middle, and Sancho or Antony on the right. And that's when we'll see Garnacho coming off the bench. And this is what I'm hoping to see. I'm just hoping, while Højlund is injured, this is where we are seeing a bit of glimpses of Garnacho, and he's getting that opportunity to try and impress. But right now, I just feel like Garnacho had a very bit of a shaky game, but he's a youth player. I'm going to back him. I'm not putting any hate on Alejandro Garnacho. I just feel like that right now, he's not offering us anything to prove why he's been a starter for Manchester United. That's just my opinion. But back to Bruno Fernandes. Again, I just thought it was quite a bit of a poor performance from Bruno today. I mean, apart from that chance where he did create the goal, apart from that, he wasn't very good. He was sloppy in possession. The passes he was making, he just wasn't very good today. And I'm hoping that against Spurs on Saturday, he plays much better. But anyway, thank you for watching. I'll give my match ratings quickly. Andre Onana, I'm feeling positive, a 9 out of 10. I feel like for a Premier League debut and to announce yourself to the fans, it's a brilliant way to do it. And for me, he was definitely the difference today. Wan-Bissaka gets an 8. Felt he was absolutely superb. Varane also gets an 8. Martinez and Lindelof, I'm going to give a 6.5 to. Shaw, I'm going to give a 7.5 to. Casemiro, I'm going to give a 7. Bruno Fernandes, I'm going to give a 6. Average. Mason Mount, I'm going to give a 7. I mean, I've not even spoken about Mason Mount yet. Mason Mount for me was quite good. I mean, he stood out to me more than Bruno Fernandes, and Mason Mount looked a lot more comfortable on the ball than Bruno Fernandes did. So, yeah, I felt like Mason Mount played well. Antony, again, I'm going to give him a 7.5. I felt like he was very, very good. Rashford, I'm going to give a 6. Not because he played badly, just didn't get any service, so he couldn't really do anything with it. And Alejandro Garnacho, I'm also going to give a 6 to. Just wasn't very good, in my opinion. And then Sancho, McTominay, we've said Lindelof, but anyone else who came on, I'm just going to give a 6 to. They didn't really change. Actually, no. I'm going to correct myself there. Sancho and Eriksen actually brought the difference to that game when they came on, because once they came on, we looked like a different team. We looked like we were a lot more free in creativeness, and towards the end it was squeaky bum time. But at the end of the day, Manchester United get the 3 points. We've got a clean sheet. We've got 3 points on the board. That's all that matters. It's a great way to start our Premier League 23-24 season campaign. Unlike last season when we lost 2-1 to Brighton. So hopefully we beat Spurs. Hopefully we beat Nottingham Forest. And I'm looking forward to seeing what happens with the future. But yes, with Erik ten Hag, he's got some work to do on that training ground, because that midfield needs to be sorted. But anyway, thank you for watching. Take care of yourself and take care.